Oh my God. I'm just like physically broken. I'm like all this moving, and so I still have stuff
Oh,
over here that's just like boxes and boxes. Our dining room is
oh yeah,
finally
look at your
starting to
new
get put
house. I didn't
together.
even notice. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm so self-absorbed in my own fucking chaos right now.
Yeah, cute. I
It's
found a
so
bunch of old
cute.
mandibles and stuff that I used to have. I was like, oh, those were. I opened this one like big plastic tote. And I was like, there's all my bones and antlers. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, I love
I was look,
that.
yeah, I was looking for them for fucking ever at my other apartment, and here we are. So I'm like, great. All the animals are starting to get along because we got the cats back on Sunday, like a week ago, and
Oh, where were they? Where'd they
TJ
stay?
had them for the last 2 years because remember I couldn't have animals at my apartment.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he just gave them up?
Yeah. Well, he's moving to New Orleans, and the agreement was when I finally got a house or a place that I could have animals, they're my cats, so I get them back. And but they've never been in another house besides that house, and so
Right. Oh,
then now they're
yeah.
like, I mean, everyone is settled in beautifully, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But and there's a dog, and so I opened up the crates. I left them in their cat carriers for about 25 minutes to like a half an hour just to kind of new smells, kept the dog in the kitchen. It was just like, hey, and like they were meowing because they were purring when I was petting him through like the door of the cat carrier. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna open it up. So I opened it up, and then the dog somehow pushed past the baby gate. And
Oh,
and so then they're standing, and all of a sudden Lenny hisses and just swipes at her face. And so then the dog starts yelping and running in the complete opposite direction. So for like 2 days, it was just everybody was on edge. And now
is
no one's,
everybody friends now?
nah, I mean,
Almost.
they're indifferent. So,
I
like,
mean,
no
that's
one's
good
running out of
stuff.
the room when another one comes in. I fell asleep on
That's
the
a step
couch.
towards friendship.
Yeah, and I fell asleep on the couch a couple days ago, and I woke up and Lenny was on my chest, and then in like the nook of my knees, Aura, we renamed her from Oreo to Aura because fuck Oreo. So Aura was in like the nook of my knees, and so they were both kind of like on me, but
Yeah.
not freaking out with each other. So that was cool. Hey, can you get your head out of there? Move. She's been loving these catnip toys, the dog. So,
Oh,
so she's been very into it. But yeah, so everything's going great. Knock on wood with them. We're unpacking slowly but surely. So like the house is, I would say like 80% unpacked. And it's only been a couple
yeah.
weeks, so here we are.
It's good.
But yeah,
Good.
nothing too crazy. I'm just like physically exhausted.
Well, it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It is a lot. She
Yeah.
keeps putting the freaking cat toys under the couch and now she's crying. Well, that's not my problem. I don't know what to tell you. Go
Oh,
get your toys.
you're making it your problem right now. Get your head out of there. Stop looking at her.
I know. She keeps turning around going, how was your
Here.
week? How was your trip?
Oh, it was fabulous. Hold on,
Oh,
let me sip this coffee and then I'll tell you all about it.
I love it.
Um, went to the same spot. We went last year on the lake. It's this small lake that's like just up north of Tahoe, like above Tahoe a little bit. Um, took the paddle boards. Realized that you will know if I win the lottery or fall into big riches because I will have an activities person. And I don't mean a personal assistant or somebody I can boss around. I hate setting shit up. I hate blowing up my paddleboard. I hate deflating my paddleboard. I would go more often if I could just put that shit in the water. I went every day. And I'm like, because it was just sitting there outside the boat and I would just get on it and go out in the water. I posted the video like the first morning I got up super early to go and it was really windy and I couldn't like paddleboarded every day. I was in the sun all day, every day, and we cooked foods and we hung out and had cocktails, and it was very lovely. And I have other friends that live up there, and they took out on their little pontoon boat and they boated out to the spot we were at. So we got to hang
Oh,
out with them for a couple of days. We found this little secret waterfall on the
oh,
lake that was
nice.
cool. Yeah, it was super fun. And then the last day I went out early, and it was just so quiet. Like and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna video a little bit of my little fucking solo trip because I was just gonna throw some music over it and put some bullshit on it. And I was like, just how you could just hear the paddle in the water. It was so quiet, so I just posted it without any additional sound. So it's 50 seconds of quiet in the front of my board, like whatever.
Cool
So
though.
if you're interested, go look at the front of my board. But yeah, it was really, 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 really nice. And then I drove home and I took an extra day to drive home, and then I went thrifting all the way back down and stopped at these weird little fucking thrift stores on the way back.
Oh,
I
that's
got home,
fun.
yeah, got home yesterday and I had like was super motivated to do stuff, and I did.
You did or you
I,
didn't?
I didn't. I barely unpacked.
You're like, all the energy. No,
Yeah.
thanks.
Jen watched my house while I was gone, and she was worried that the raccoon, she wasn't going to see the raccoon. Like, that's on her bucket list. She was so worried. And I'm like, he shows up every day. Don't even
He
worry
wants
about it.
food. He's coming.
Right. I'm like, he's coming. And she was like, well, maybe he's not going to like me. And maybe first day, like, she was sending me pictures. She's like, we're friends now. She's like, he likes marshmallows. I made him bacon. And then he was sleeping on the couch. I'm like, what is happening? Like, he
He's
just got up
moved
on the,
in.
I'm like, okay. She goes, I'm trying to lure him into the house. I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, he can't come indoors.
Yeah.
So, but I guess the neighbor said there's a mom with babies that's living under the house across the street now. So that's my new goal, is to get them attracted to my house. Like, come on, everybody.
Raccoon Hotel.
Come on in. There's some lady on the internet that had to call 911 because she started feeding raccoons, and then just overnight they told like literally all of their friends, and they were holding her hostage in the house because she didn't wasn't they were just all surrounding her back door. She's like, I don't know what to do. There's too many. I'm like, that's the problem I would like to have. So, all right.
Oh, well,
Oh,
hi.
also, you
Welcome.
guys, I guess
Yeah.
I said this at the beginning. Like, if you guys don't want to hear our bullshit, just fast forward. It
Yeah.
tells
Just a
you
few
where if you
minutes.
just fast forward and you can get right into it. Anyway, welcome. Hi.
Hi, welcome to My Cards Told Me To. What are we talking about today? What's going
Today we're
on?
doing the sky is full of bullshit. Today we're doing Barbault's basket. French astrologer. His name is Andre Barbault. I may or may not be butchering his name. Don't at me. That's all. Um, it's going to be real brief about. I got a little bit of back history about this guy. I tried to keep it a little brief. There's a lot of shit happening. And then I have a little thing about Saturn retrograde and some journal prompts because
Ooh.
we're still releasing shit. Write it on a leaf. So we can go back. I mean, we can revisit all of the releasing little conjurings and spells and stuff that we did like the past couple of episodes, because it's still relevant. You can still do all that. And then we have some journal prompts and make a list. I'll make a wish.
Ooh.
So what do we got? I have so Andre Barbeau. Um, is an astrologer that relied solely on math of planetary movements. So there's a lot of astrologers that they astrologize, whatever it's called when you do astrology. They're astrologizers. Um, and the feeling and whatever, strictly math. This guy was strictly math, like not watching the news, not seeing what's happening, like strictly math and patterns, like hyper focused math and pattern guy. Um, Also extremely hyper focused on only the slow moving planets. And then he found this curve, which he called Cyclic's curve. I'm just mentioning it because it was in the article. But he would take that map and put it over the outside planets and kind of see what was happening. And he did discover that when the four outside moving planets, so we're looking at Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, those four. So when they're clustered together, it was like planetary crisis. And there's years on that. So
Oh
it's
my God.
1914, 1940, and then 2020. But he died in, I'm going to be wrong, 98, I think. You can at me on that. I could be wrong, but before 2020. and was like 2020 is, and he actually used the word pandemic.
Oh,
Um, and he said there's going to be a pandemic that kind of like turns everything upside down. So it was like the planets are together crisis. That was his last prediction. But he looked through history with all these other dates for like when the planetary crises happened. When they're farther apart, it's when change happens collectively. So Barbo's basket, which, okay, sidebar, he didn't name it this. He wasn't like, this is my deal. He was just strictly doing the math like the internet named it. He wasn't like, I'm doing research on the thing that I'm naming after me. Like, not even a little bit. Like, he was just like, here's what's happening. So now we have this like basket shape. And they're far apart. And so change starts to happen collectively. Now, like it kind of started happening at the beginning of the year, and you can look at just like what's happening collectively across the planet. Where are people fed up? Where are changes happening? Where have like these seeds grown to now we're like literally sitting right on top of where all the planets are, and you can kind of see where stuff is moving. It's still frustrating. There's still a lot of stuff, but you can kind of see where it's moving into a more like, I want to say safer, but it's not necessarily safer, but you kind of get the vibe that I'm saying, right? Like it's sort
yeah.
of moving forward, moving out of the bullshit, and we're moving. They are slow moving planets, so you're not going to see it instantly. It's like plant the seeds, and then you're going to start to see growth um, in areas. So it's like, um, and it's over a big next chunk in time. It's like, where are we going to get new technology? Where are we going to get new leadership? Where are we going to get new, all of these things that were the seeds are planted and we're growing in that. So also sidebar, I'm getting index cards for next week.
Oh, hooray.
Very exciting. Look at me changing for the better.
Slowly.
Slowly changing for the better, right? Okay. So I do have this very remedial drawing, which I was going to make better, but then nothing happened yesterday. So I don't know. Okay, so it makes I'm going to try to show you guys, but if you can't see it. Oh, also, you can look this up on any of the social medias, literally anywhere, wherever you like a video, you like a good video, or if you want to read an article, you can look up Barbo's basket on any of the social medias. And you guys, if you want to do more research and I have a little bit here, so I hope you did your charts from last week, because where stuff
Hmm.
falls is going to really, really affect you personally, in addition to it really affecting the collective. So we have Pluto, and all of these planets are within 4 degrees of where they sit. Does that make sense? Based on the thing I said yesterday, not yesterday, last week, before my
I
trip.
like.
I didn't say anything yesterday. Um, so the planets are going to sit here, and these are all like, and then they move, right? But they have their home. Does that make sense? They all kind of have their home where they live, and then they travel back to their home. Okay. So all of these are all lined up in this basket shape, and they're all within 4 degrees of where their home is. That makes sense. It looks
The
like this.
degrees are I'm like,
So here, see my, it looks like a
I'm
bathtub.
getting in closer here.
My notes are so
Okay.
shitty.
Yeah.
Okay, you see
It
what I'm
almost
saying?
reminds me
Okay.
of like the Big Dipper kind of a situation.
Sort of. So if you map this out on the wheel, if you get a blank wheel and you put this on the wheel, you can see how it is a basket and how the lines kind of line up. And if you put this on the wheel, you'll also see where it sits on your own chart. So I encourage you guys to go, if you don't even read your whole chart, or you just want to print out the chart part, go back to last week's episode and just print your chart out. Because a lot of this stuff, like, and have it handy, because we're going to do more planet stuff, and then you can bust out your chart and you can play along. It'll be fun. Okay, so we have, yay. So we have Pluto in Aquarius, and we have Neptune in Aries. We have Uranus and Jupiter, and then we have Jupiter in Leo. And I'm going to tell you what that all means. Okay.
Do tell.
All right. So this peaks. So the primary activation window for this is the 15th through the 24th, but it peaks from the 19th to the 22nd. So we are right
Today.
sitting in the middle of it. We're right in the middle. So today, we're right in the middle of it. Okay. So as a collective whole, Jupiter, which is up on the top right, which is in Leo. So Jupiter speaks to growth and meaning, and in Leo, it highlights creative leadership and self-expression. So that's kind of taking us out of the norm, what we're used to. We want to move forward with that. Pluto speaks to deep transformation, power, words are hard today. How systems are built. And in Aquarius, it focuses on community, technology, and collective structure. So you can kind of see, because of where they're in and how they're lined up, how this is kind of global as opposed to
Yeah.
personal. Okay. So the opposition of the two will bring questions like who's leading, who's in charge, who holds the most influence, how are we sharing resources, what does it look like to move past hierarchies and build something new and more sustainable. So that's those two working together. Now that's the top bar, or top of the, or handle, I suppose, as it were, the handle of the basket. Okay. And then we have, not yet. Yeah. Okay. And then we have Uranus, which is the planet of innovation and destruction. And it's in Gemini. So it speaks to rapid shifts in information, communication, inventions, and thought patterns. So again, kind of global, not necessarily personal. But I do have some personal stuff in here. You guys can whatever. And then we have Neptune, which is the planet of spirituality and imagination. And then in Aries, it's where your beliefs become actions, and then it's bringing us to have courage for change, spiritual activism. It's being brought into the mix, and everybody's kind of getting a little bit braver and taking a few more steps outside their comfort zone and doing whatever. So again, you can kind of see how this is more global and more like community based as opposed to what it's going to say to your own personal houses. But there's a lot like, and people are like, oh, I felt this energy shift today. No, you didn't. It's not today. Well, I mean, you might have,
No,
but
no, you
it's
didn't.
not. No, you didn't. It's not today. It's like this is it's very, 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 very slow moving. So,
Yeah.
are there shifts in energies every day? Yes. Are you feeling this shift? Like it's not going to shift. Like, oh, yay, we're doing a new thing and everything's all better. It's not even a little bit like that. It's slow
It's a
moving,
time
but
taker.
yeah, but you can kind of see what. So, um, so all these four planets together create harmony, but the harmony is going to feel disruptive at first because new ideas are being created and it's creating momentum. Um, and all of these things need to kind of be like tested and expressed and sort of finding their own place. Um, for many signs, it's just a lot of like the mental energy is being turned up. So you're kind of like, you know, global and collectively, but also me, but also global and collectively. Like you're kind of like, okay, what do I got going on for me? But like, what can I also do for my community? What can I do that's going to make this, I feel a little bit braver. I'm going to go out and do a thing. I'm going to get involved. I'm going, I'm going to participate more, that type of thing. More of a collective energy. It sets a stage for growth. And it is your responsibility to decide what seeds to plant for yourself, what seeds to plant for the community. I mean, and that could also be literally, if you community garden that shit up, maybe that's your place, and it's for like later on in the year. So you're and not putting your energy into stagnant projects or ideas that you started at the beginning of the year that you kind of feel like you're spinning your wheels and that's not going anywhere. Which will attach to the Saturn retrograde that I'm going to do in a little while. But if you had ideas at the beginning of the year and they're kind of stagnant, you feel like it's not going anywhere, and versus this is a really great idea, I need to put more energy into it. Yes, do that. But if it really kind of feels like, oh, that was just the thing I talked about, get rid of it. Because you're not gonna,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna grow if you plant it. You want to plant the seeds that are gonna grow. You're not gonna want to water seeds that aren't worth it or aren't doing anything. Okay.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I'm sorry. I just did like a big stretch and then like all of a
I
sudden.
could do a dance if that'll keep you.
No, it's like I said, I physically exhausted the
I
crap out of
know.
myself this last
Look, your
week.
house looks great behind you though, so good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Getting there.
I love it. Um, okay, so it's a real small window while we're kind of over it. So you want to plant seeds for the greater good. You want to plant seeds for the future. You want to plant seeds that are going to like grow into something sustainable. But the window to do that is so small that you really, really, really want to focus not on other people's energy, not on other people's problems or asks or requests or a lot of things. Pick one thing, pick two things in your life that you've been trying to build for the past few months, for the past couple of years, for the past, whatever, and really put your energy into those things and focus on yourself. Because if you're wasting your time, a little bit of energy there and a little bit of energy there and not bringing it back to you, which again brings it back to the authenticity episode that we did. It's nothing is going to grow. You only have
Yeah.
enough water for so many plants. So if you're trying to if you go to water other people's garden and then you get home and your watering can is empty, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So less them, more you, because eventually the more you is for the greater good. That makes sense. I know all
It
this
does.
planet stuff is very confusing and sometimes not as fun as like the reading your horoscope and having it be about you. But
Me, 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 me,
okay.
me.
Me. Well, I mean, it's like you look at a photo and then you find yourself first in the picture, but you want to pretend that the group looks great. It's the same, like you're like collective yay, but also me. So, but yeah. Okay. So we're doing a lot of journaling this week, a lot of writing. So get your little journal out that you got out for, I guess, last week. Or if you didn't, get one now. If you don't like journaling,
Notes app.
that's too bad. Skip this part. I don't know. Um, okay. Questions to ask yourself. Jupiter for Jupiter and Leo. So if you want to put them in categories, and you don't have to do it all at once, I mean, so Jupiter's in Leo, which is creative confidence and visibility. So your questions are, where am I ready to lead as myself rather than just cosplaying the role?
Ooh, I like that one.
Right? That's good. And then also, where does my desire to be seen step in or slip into performance or ego? So there's a
Go
finding it,
on.
finding it. There's a couple of astrology and one tarot person that I can think of at the top of my head. You, lady. No, but like that are very extremely performative and very ego based, where it's just like, what are you doing?
I
It's
wouldn't
like
take your shit with any kind of
right, like
I
you're tap dancing your way through this post, like, so just, I mean, where does my desire to be seen step into performance or ego or slip into performance or ego? So that's Jupiter and Leo. And then Pluto, and these will all be in the show notes, you guys. Pluto in Aquarius is collective power, technology, and social structure. So your questions are, which structures in my life or community are ready to be transformed? And where can I help? So And it doesn't even have to be as big as community. If you're really feeling like you need to get your shit together and you need to focus on you, then do that. I mean, there's no obligation to go outside of yourself if you need to do the work. That's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. So it's which structures in my life are ready to be transformed. There it is. And also, where is my power being concentrated, and does that still feel honest to me? So, when we talked about calling your power back at the end of the day and, calling your energy back at the back of the day, at the end of the day, that's still very important. But if you're giving away your power all day long, and again, not focusing on yourself. So, okay, that's Pluto in Aries. So then we have that's Pluto in Aquarius. My bad, can't read my own writing. And we have Neptune in Aries, which is spiritual action, values, and courageous compassion. So your questions are, how can I act on what I believe in? Where do my spiritual values need clearer boundaries and follow through? So it's real easy to say that you believe in a thing, but you flip flop if someone comes at you with another opinion,
Yeah.
or right, or you're like, oh, I really believe in this thing, and then you're given the opportunity to talk about it or to show somebody or to whatever, and you're kind of willing to do that, but then you go home and then you don't practice your own thing that you talk about. So it's like, where's your follow through lacking in your spiritual values, and where can you kind of step that up? If you don't have spiritual values, yes, you do, because no, not having them is still, because you still have values, because you operate your life around these values. So where can you step up with those more? And then Uranus and Gemini is mental breakthroughs, shifts in communication, and new ideas. What stories and information streams and consuming those need updating? Are you doom scrolling too much? Is
Yes.
your
Go
everybody
on.
is your FYP full of the same, like it's just the same? Because if you watch something, if you're going through something and you start watching videos about that thing, you're going to start getting videos about that thing. So now you're only consuming information about the problem you have, or about the. I was looking for a generator. I think I told you this. I was looking for a
Yeah.
generator when we had that storm. I watched a generator video a little too long, and all of a sudden my feed was full of like preppers and like
I was say
build a
preppers.
bunker. And I'm like, I just wanted a generator for the storm. I'm not trying to, and then you have to consciously go out and like start watching animal videos again. So your feed gets better. But it's like, if you're consuming too many stories and information about negative stuff, fix it. Stop.
Yeah. I would just say in
Like, it's
general, I don't give a
okay to
fuck.
go after information, but do some other research. Like, if you find a little nugget that you're interested in, get off of the social medias and go and do some research. Go to the
Yeah.
library. There's books there, you guys. Libraries are
If you
still
don't know what a
open.
book is,
If you don't know what a book is, right? No, I mean, honestly, go to the library. It's air conditioned. There's books there. There's free Wi-Fi there. You can rent all kinds of shit. There's all kinds of things. Go to the library. Anyway, um, and then, how is my thinking being disrupted or clouded in ways that either it not being clouded could actually set me free? So if you have if you're kind of rigid in your thought processes, or if you kind of have really strong opinions about stuff, that if you actually look at why, you don't know why you have that opinion, you're just kind of dug in on that opinion. um Look at that, and what
or maybe it's not
in what
serving you anymore to think that
right,
way. Do you know what I mean?
right. So how is your thinking being disrupted or clouded in ways that could actually set you free? So I mean, that could also be like, there's something getting in there and poking a hole in your rigidness, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
well, maybe I need to look at that hole, because that might be where my freedom is. is
Yeah.
going through that hole. So, okay, so those are those. Those
I
are
don't
big
know why.
collective. What?
I just thought when you gave that analogy, I don't know why this popped into my head, but do you remember that show Quantum Leap back in the day when
Oh my God, I
Sam
just
would
started.
jump in?
Yeah, they're first of all, there's a remake, not as good, but also,
Probably not.
but it's not terrible. And I just started rewatching that a couple of months ago. Like I found it like on Tubi or something. Tubi, we're looking
Oh
for a
my God.
sponsor. Yeah, I love
I
that
j-
show.
I love that show too. And I don't
I
know why
love
it
it.
just popped into my head, but when
It's
you gave that
funny.
example, but I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, because
Oh,
he
like
just
when the
like
thing
goes
opens
in.
up and he just
Well,
goes
because
to the
yeah, and
next.
then he goes into these different lives and different moments in history and gets like these new experiences and perspectives and you
The
know,
new one is his daughter carrying on his stuff. Like
his
she's
legacy of
his
leaping.
legacy of things. So
What was
love
that
that show.
guy's name with the cigar? His like watcher or whatever. Because I know
Oh,
Sam, I think, was the guy.
Sam. Sam was the guy. I want to say Max, but that's wrong. That's the cigar guy from Heart to Heart. I just
All right.
aged myself there. Okay.
It's fine.
All right.
It's not a big deal.
Well,
Anyway, go watch Quantum
one of
Leap.
us are gonna. Some people they're yelling at the screen right now. So at us, tell us what his name is. Okay. So journal prompts for the week of July or the 2 weeks ish. Anyway, for July 18th through the 25th. So we're past the 18th, but through the 25th. Here are your journal prompts. So there's those questions which you can which are a little bit deeper and you can really, really ask yourself about like what are you doing for the collective? And then these are your journal prompts. How is my own personal power shifting inside of me? I'm not reading this right because there's no punctuation. Let's try that again. All right.
It's like Ron Burgundy when he reads the teleprompter. Go
Right.
fuck
I mean, that's
yourself, San
exactly what that
Diego.
was. I was just like, oh, I wrote this and don't not read it properly.
Don't not read properly.
Don't not read properly. How read a book. How is how is my own personal power shifting inside of me and the spaces I move through? So again, that's your personal power. Like where are you putting your power? Where are you putting your energy? In this in for yourself and through the spaces that you're moving through. And you need to really kind of look at that. Where am I being asked to lead with more authenticity instead of just performance? Oh my God, are these the same? Oh, okay, yeah, these are just personalized, kind of not dumbed down, but these are kind of personalized, say, like of the same. What information, media, or stories no longer fit the person I'm becoming? How can I turn my core beliefs into clear actions? And what kind of community and structures do I want to help shape in this new era moving forward? So, like, after you've got your own shit together, what can you do with that knowledge? What can you do with that information to for the betterment of the group? Like, what can you do? You know,
Yeah, now
and
that you're
don't
not a
try to
fucking
do it too
dumpster fire
soon.
of a human.
Right, like don't try to do it too soon. Like if you're still healing a lot, and you still, I mean, obviously take care of your kids. You don't get to like go on sabbatical while you go find yourself and leave a bowl of food out for your children. You obviously still have responsibilities, but if you're still in a place where you're learning who you are and learning don't take that shit on the road. um unless you want to talk about what you already learned, but like I mean there's a lot of people out there that are giving advice on stuff that they haven't particularly learned yet, and it can be harmful and not
Yeah, because it's
helpful.
their way of working through their own shit, and it's like, but you're not. No, don't do
Yeah,
that because
yeah.
then you're
There was
putting
a
out
lady that I
misinformation.
really liked, and then someone spilled her backstory, and I was like, now I'm really disappointed because you were just yelling from the mountaintop about clearly stuff you just read in the book,
Mm,
and it
yeah.
and came off super authentic, like came off super just, out in nature doing her thing. Hey, I went through all this stuff, and it's like, oh, but you didn't. So, anywho, I'm not gonna
Boo.
I am not going to talk about anybody anyway. But just yeah, work through your own stuff, and then get out there and help the community. Okay,
Well, that, oh, sorry.
no go.
Yeah. Because I don't want to keep you up. But like I was saying, that's something I teach in like beginner tarot too, is like we really got to make sure, like when we're giving any kind of reading, doesn't matter whether it's tarot or whatever, like any kind of reading, we have to make sure that like we are clearing whatever blocks we have. We're getting our ego and putting that to the side. Because like then you're just filling that reading with your shit. Then you're giving a message that really might not necessarily be for that person. And it's because you
Right,
still haven't really processed your shit. And that's not also to say that you can't give readings while you're going through shit, like a major breakup or losing your job, or you're like super highly anxious about this thing or that thing. But you got to get really good at being able to pull them apart, right? And to go, in this moment, it's not about me. It's about the person sitting across from me if I'm doing a one-on-one. It's about the collective pull that I'm doing right now. Like this has you, and that's why I also tell people because they're like, how do you know if it's like the message is like a true message or if it's like you kind of just like putting your own shit out there. And I'm like, if you don't have any emotional attachment to it, like
right.
if there's no emotional attachment to the message that you're giving, like I get excited for people when I start hearing certain things, but that's not like, that's for me, it's a little different. Like when I'm like, oh, this is really exciting, like all this information that's coming out. But it's a little different than like you feeling opinionated about something. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
like you shouldn't have an opinion one way or another about the message that you're giving. I've sat in a lot of messages where I've given some pretty hard like had some really hard conversations, had to give information about, oh, you're cheating. Oh, and I don't really align with that because, whatever. But like this person that is here to see me has, an addiction problem and they're cheating on their spouse and this and this. And so we're like trying to talk and work through that. If I brought my personal shit into that, that would be full of all bullshit. It would be useless, right? And so there's that authenticity, there's that separating yourself from, what you're trying to do. I don't know. Just sorry. That's just kind of what it reminded me of.
Well, the thing
So
is,
here's that.
too, is also if you like to watch tarot on any of the socials, if you watch too many of the same ones, you're only going to get those messages because the
Yeah.
algorithm is stronger than the universe, apparently. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, but then you'll start to see that it's like, oh, this isn't from today or even a couple of days ago. You're like, this is from March of 2023. And it's like, that's the algorithm. That's not the universe telling you that if are the ones that are just like, if you're seeing this today, this message is for you, and it's like from March of 2023,
Like, well, then it's
and I
not for
know that,
me. Scroll by.
right. So it's like, just kind of use your discernment to know what
Yeah.
you're looking at. I mean, it's the same with, astrology stuff and any of that stuff where it's just like
Any
you get in
information.
there. If anything, if you watch too much of one thing, you're only going to get that one thing in there. So just use your discernment and, when you can reset your algorithm to
Yeah.
animal
Take
videos
what
and then,
resonates and leave what doesn't, you
right.
know? Like
But
if
the thing
something
is
fucking
a
feels
lot of,
off, you don't have to accept it.
a lot of people feel like, if they're stuck in a certain situation and they're trying to get answers,
Yeah.
and then those just are the only ones that are coming up. It's just like, oh, but this thing's going to happen for me,
Mm-mm.
and then so reset your algorithm to only show you animal videos and then start fresh
Mhm. I
is
really
my
actually, it's funny, I actually do that. I will, um, I will on all of my socials, I will purposely go look for like funny, ridiculous animal videos or like kid
yeah,
videos, like something of like kids hitting their parents with baseball bats, like toddlers, not
yep.
actual violence. Just funny, like America's Funniest Video type stuff. Um, and then I'll do that for like a day or two, um, if I'm even on socials. And then I do this thing before I open, like I'll go through all of my prayers in the morning and all that intention setting and all that. And then I'll say, I only have time. I'll tell my team, I have time for one message for me today that isn't an animal or isn't whatever. I'm like, what is it? And then I'll open up my phone and I'll see what that first message is. And I will say, for me, it's like timing wise, everything has come to this. And I was talking to my husband about it the other day. I'm like, for the last like 2.5, 3 years, it's like everything when I start seeing clusters, so I'll go reset. I'm like, okay, it's been a lot about career lately, and I'm not looking for a new job or whatever. But then I'm like, okay, but is that a message or is it because these keep coming across my page?
Right.
So I'll reset it. And if it keeps then coming back, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I should listen a little bit. But I always see anywhere from a 6 to 8 month, for me personally, this isn't saying this is for everyone. I always see like a 6 to 8 month time period where like I start seeing clusters of messages that I'm like, I wasn't even asking or inquiring with my team about this, or this isn't something that's currently even going on in my life. And I'm like, okay. And then usually if I see them
It'll
repeatedly, it comes like just like me starting this like whole new career last year around this time. It's like I wasn't looking for a new job, but for like 6 months leading up to that, it was like something unexpected is coming, a shift in your career, and this, that, and the other thing. And I just kept ignoring it. And I'm like, okay, scroll on by, but they kept popping up. And then I got this new job completely out of fucking nowhere and moving, finding a house, like everything, but like I have to also be conscious of like, is this algorithm or is this real or is it a
right.
little bit of both
Right.
or
And
is
I
there a
think the
message
thing
I should be
is we're
seeing?
so used to just um having it. Like when I was on the boat, usually when we have no service when we're on the boat. So it's eight
Yay.
days of no service. You don't have a choice, whatever. This year we got on the boat and we had fucking Elon Musk's fucking whatever the fuck thing attached to the boat. So we had service the whole time. And I'm like, I don't like that. I'm like, but now it's my responsibility to just not have my phone on,
Yeah.
you know? And then I'm like, oh, but I need music. So, which is, and we're so just whatever. So I did bring my tablet with me and I'm like, it only has music. Like I can't, there's nothing else on it. Don't, it's only for
No
music. So there's
apps.
only
Yeah.
music on my tablet. Yeah. Um, so it's not linked to anything. So I'm like, phone's off, and I came back, I think there was like 34 videos from Jen, and I'm like, yay.
Sorry. Not sorry.
No, you're fine. Um,
I
I
can't believe
turned it
that's all
on
I sent
like
you in eight
I
days.
turned it on like a couple times, and I'm just like, there were just so many, and I'm like, no, I just got out of here, And then
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna try to post these videos, and I'm like, no, because I'm gonna get sucked in, And I'm real bad at make, so it takes me longer, and I'm like, am I hitting the right thing? Am I doing? I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I'll just do it when I get home.
Technology.
So yeah, so I'm like, it's off. But yeah, I was
Oh,
kind of disappointed because that was like it was on all the boats, and then they were like, well, we have TVs in all the rooms, and I'm like, why? Like you're in nature, and I get it if you have a tablet based child, and I can't relate to that, but like, fine, bring the tablet or teach them to nature or
yeah.
something. I'm like, why did every room doesn't need a TV plus the living room on the boat? Like it was crazy. I'm like, what are we doing? Like you're outside, go
Be
outside.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
We,
so
well, not too like so to speak to that a little bit, right? Where I was like, oh, and then I have to reset my algorithm. But then there's just mornings where I'll just put on jazz or I'll put on 90s like grunge or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I've gotten away from just listening to music. Like that's prior to social media being a thing, because like
it
I'm
was
that
only
generation.
music.
Like
It
I
was
was on a
only
cusp
music.
of, dude, when I could get an iPod and like then I had a Bose speaker, and then like my mornings were forever changed because I didn't have
Yeah.
to listen to a radio and like put the boombox right in the doorway of the bathroom. And like I was like, oh my God, like those were my mornings for so long. And then now, as of the last 3 years, since TikTok kind of became a thing, like I listen to messages and the thing is, I will say this too. I do sometimes like I will tell my team, I'm not looking for any messages. I'm looking for education. I love to see how other people deliver their messages. I love to see, like, oh, what does this card mean to them? Like, I've gotten so many different variations of the 10 of Cups because I've seen so many different people's take on it or whatever. Like, there's also a lot of times where I'm like, oh, no, this is just like super helpful just to see where everyone's at and see what everyone's feeling and thinking in terms
For
of
sure,
like
there's a
whatever.
bunch of information out there, but it's like use your
Yeah. But
discernment. You
like,
don't need to be on there
yeah.
the whole time.
But like, well, yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. So like, then there's those moments where you're like, well, we're on a fucking boat. It's like, just be quiet, be in the
Yeah.
silence, be in the still. Like at night, I'm really trying. My husband cannot do Bob's Burgers every night like I do to fall asleep. So I'm slowly getting myself used to at least putting on like one of those blackout screen YouTube channels with like thunderstorms or music or something.
You
So
have a
I'm
TV?
not. I have to. I've always, even
I'm
as a kid.
judging the fuck out of you right now.
No, it's for when I wake up from night terrors, I still see things in front of me. And so
Okay.
I've always said that I had to have music or something to distract me immediately because I would have these intense dreams and I would wake up and I would see things as soon as I opened my eyes. And that was super terrifying because then I didn't know if I was in reality or what was happening. And so I just always have a TV on or something
Yeah.
going with music, but I
There's a
also have
lot of
some
people
sort
that
of
do
low
it. Like,
light.
I mean, I have a lot of really good friends that have their TV up. Not really judging you. I just
I can't,
not
dude.
into it.
It was such a big, it's still a big thing where Brian and I are trying to find a balance because he's used to just like dark and silence. And so
Yeah,
here we
I
are.
just don't like it dark. I like having mood lighting, but I'll turn on music, kind
Yeah.
of. But it ends. It'll turn itself off. But
I
whatever.
also have
That's
this
either good or
thing
not.
because of my anxiety too, like my brain never shuts off. And so if I can, there's like studies that were done. I'm like, I'm not crazy. See, like I literally tried to explain this to another ex of mine who had a problem with the TV in the bedroom. And I used to say, like, I watch the same like 10 things routinely over
Yeah,
and over again because in my head,
that's more calming. Like it's
yeah,
why
I can see the
more calming.
scenes. I don't have to have my eyes open and it gives me something to focus on though and play it in my head and then I'm just before I know it, I'm asleep. And so
Yeah,
it's
so you
like
guys, I'm not judging. I'm not judging you if you need to have a TV in your room. I was just fucking with her. Not even a little bit. Like
she loves
everybody's
to
got their
fuck
own
with
little
me.
thing. So, all right,
Yeah.
let's get back to this because they
Hi.
skipped through our bullshit. Now they're back in it.
Don't ever skip
Ah,
through our bullshit. There's always
yeah,
something to
we're a
get
good
from it.
time.
We're
Sometimes
a
we're a
good
long
time.
time. All right. Okay.
We are
Saturn
always a
retro.
long time.
Oh, it's a long time. Okay. Uh, Saturn in retrograde, y'all. If you haven't gotten your shit together by the end of Mercury retrograde, which is the 23rd, I'm sorry. Maybe you should have tried harder. All right, so Saturn retrograde begins on July 26th. Mercury retrograde ends on the 23rd. I'm not trying to scare anybody. If you have your shit together, this is actually a really nice time for you. Um, and then Saturn retrograde begins on the 26th. There's 3 days in the middle. It's like the eye of the storm. It's like when that storm went over Hawaii and it messed up the whole island, but the storm was so big that they had like 2 days of sunshine and then the rest it moved back and it kept moving and then the wind went in the other whole direction. So
Oh my
it's
God.
yeah. Um why that lives in my head, I have no idea. That storm was like in
It's
the
like the eye
90s.
of the hurricane, you know?
Yeah. Um okay, so you want to go look at your chart. This is actually go look at your chart and see where your Capricorn and Sagittarius placements are because you're going to feel it the most. Um, so Saturn by itself, just where it hangs out, has kind of been holding your hand to help you build for yourself. And you can liken it to like holding the back of the bike when the kid is pedaling, or hand on the waist when the kid is roller skating, like whatever it is, kind of like I'm just going to hold your hand through it. Retrograde, he's let go. Okay. So if you weren't learning how to pedal or learning how to balance or just kind of taking advantage of the fact that Saturn was holding your hand, um, it's basically challenging you to hold up the structure that you built on your own. So if you really weren't trying or you skipped a bunch of steps, and what you have is kind of rickety, it's going to be a really rough period of you trying to hold that shit together. Um, so basically, Saturn is retesting your unlearned lessons and forcing you to restructure your life lessons that you're refusing to learn. So if you didn't learn that shit in Mercury retrograde, you're definitely going to learn it in Saturn retrograde. And Saturn retrograde lasts for 4 months. So
Oh,
get your shit together. So Saturn rules responsibilities, boundaries, discipline, and the consequences of our choices. Saturn is also considered the lord of karma or the reap what you sow planet. So get your shit together.
get your shit
Okay.
together.
Saturn is going to make it very clear what is meant to stay and what is meant to go over the next few months. Slow down, reflect, and take responsibility for the direction that your life is going. So You don't get to put blame. Don't get to point fingers at other people. You don't get to make excuses like, oh, well, the reason I didn't get that job was because they didn't, like those people that just whatever, that just will have an excuse for every reason that their life is falling apart. Not them, not me, everybody else or everything else, or I'm just in the wrong place at the wrong time, like whatever. You really need to slow down and reflect and take responsibility for the direction that your life is going and do something about it. 4 months. Um, if you are turning a blind eye to repeated lessons that have been showing up, especially during the last Mercury retrograde, you're going to feel them more obviously during Saturn retrograde. Pay attention to patterns. If you think you felt this before, or if you feel that the same issues keep resurfacing, it's time to really reassess and fix it for good. Like really take a look at it and be like, all right, where do I need to fix this? And again, this plays all the way back into what we talked about a little earlier, is you can't help your neighborhood, your community, your family, your whatever, if you're a fucked up ball of mess.
Yeah.
Saturn makes a slow down. Aries brings lessons around confidence, independence, boundaries, personal responsibility, and past choices that you've made based on impulse. So,
I'm bugged.
good luck. Uh, yeah. So, I mean, stay with the healing, work on yourself, work on what can you do for the community. Like if you have found yourself with extra time and you feel like you want to do something, like get out there and do it, you know, reach out to somebody that's with, whatever group that you resonate with, whatever, community situation that you feel that you can help with or do good in, or whatever you're doing. You want to teach a class. You want to, whatever you want to do. Now's a good time to start. Reassess what you've done up until this point and start. Who's over there?
Brian.
Stop
He's
flirting with your
bringing,
husband. Is he bringing you snacks?
no, I wish. He's bringing packages though.
That is
We just set up our dining room and I had some things delivered. So
that is very nice.
he
Okay.
has a very
All
nice
right.
meal.
That was very long.
Yeah, we had
Two
about an
girls, one
hour.
day.
Two girls, one deck. All right. Okay. So hear me out.
Are
So
we
with
doing a big
the, is
one?
it it's 5 card. I'll try to because I know we're like already an hour in, so I'll try to talk fast and go
Give me
go
the big
quick.
one. Are we already? Well, it's just going to be long. And we're sorry
Yeah,
if you listen to this on your drive. You'll have to listen on the way home as well.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. So with Barbault, right? Is that what it's how it's Bar Barbault basket
Yeah.
sitting primarily? So it's sitting primarily in fire, right? The element of fire. So Neptune in Aries and the Jupiter in Leo, and then in air, which is Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. So like this energetic like signature is kind of like a cosmic wildfire for ideas, right? So it's like big old dumpster fire with a bunch of fun raccoons just running around in there. And fire brings like the raw passion, identity shifts, and like air brings in that intellectual kind of like downloading and collective communication. Um, but like, so I always say, like, when we think of like the fire, it's like Wands energy, right? So it's very much this like passion, purpose, creativity, what sits on your heart. And then air being the swords energy, which is like cutting shit off at the knees, boundaries, emotional intelligence, conscious awareness, communication, that kind of stuff, right? But because of these like heavy retrogrades, instead of exploding like outwardly, like all this heat and like wind is swirling like inward. So it's like I kind of created a little bit of a cheat sheet before I even go into this spread that I kind of came up with. Um, so I'm gonna go through that like super fast, if that's okay. I know we're kind
Yeah,
of
do
like
it.
on time.
No, you
Um,
just don't. Time is an
okay.
illusion.
Time isn't real. All right, so fire placements being that Neptune in Aries and Jupiter in Leo. So the tarot tie to this is like that House of Wands, like I was saying. So fire is all about identity, passion, creativity, joy, what sits in our hearts. With Neptune being in Aries and Jupiter in Leo, this is like the universe asking, who are you when you stop performing for the applause, right? Kind of like what you were asking people. So this poll, this spread could be really fucking rad to go along with the journal prompting that Cupcake was talking about. Because
Oh,
like a
I
lot
love
of
that.
times, especially if you're doing like beginner tarot, I always tell my students, the first thing you're bringing to class is a fucking journal and a deck of cards and a pen, like because we're going to journal a lot, right? So who are you when you stop performing for the applause? Wands usually tells us to go, 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 go. But like with these planets being again in retrograde, Wands energy right now is about burning away the fake versions of ourselves. So it's about finding courage to be raw, unpolished, and intensely real, which again is really funny because we've been talking a lot about authenticity lately. So if you pull high Wands in this spread, so like the collective is kind of being called to like reclaim like sovereignty and personal power. So when we're talking about air placements, right? So that's swords, the house of swords. So Pluto and Uranus. Oh my God. Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. I keep trying to tell myself to call
I
it Uranus and
mean,
not Uranus, just because I laugh
right?
every time I say it.
Because you're an
Um,
11-year-old boy.
because I am 11. So the House of Swords is connected to air placements, right? And so air governs our mind, collective consciousness, how we communicate, like I was saying. I also always say swords draw lines in the sand. So it's boundary setting, standing in your power, standing in your truth. Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini are like completely rewiring our brain, like the chemistry and like how we connect as a society. So in tarot, swords can get like a bad rap for being like stressful and like harsh and whatever, but it's like it's also these are tools for mental clarity because things sometimes have to be super fucking hard to shake us to our core so that we can then start sifting through it, right? To then make sense of it, to then figure out who we are, how we want to move forward, what kind of boundaries do I need, that kind of shit. And so right now, like this air element is giving us this like sharp vision needed to cut through like old toxic cultural conditioning. So swords popping up in a reading can mean like you're receiving major psychic downloads and clearing out old mental clutter to make room for new wild ideas, which I love. So when we combine these two, right, fire meeting air, it's like you're getting this massive blaze, right? Think about like when they tell you in like fire training, when you touch the back of the door with your hand, they're like, don't open it because what does oxygen do? It fuels fire, right? So because of this basket configuration, though, it's like a contained, focused heat. So it's not just like a wildfire, like in fucking Canada right now, making our air conditions here in Buffalo so crazy. But anyway, air feeds fire. So what ideas are circulating right now? Are they directly fueling our soul's purpose? It's like this ultimate recipe for like a glow up. So as long as we don't let like these retrogrades turn us into any kind of internal burnout, let the embers glow you up. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going off notes that I have. So if the deck starts throwing out wands and swords at us today, it's like, don't panic. The universe is just giving us a little heat and a lot of intellect to forge a completely new version of us. But if we were to get earth, right? So now we're gonna jump over to like earth and water. So earth being pentacles and water being cups. When they show up in this, it's like it could actually be more of like a cosmic plot twist. It's like think of this as a universe stepping in to act as an anchor so the collective doesn't like completely float away in a cloud of these really cool fucking fiery ass ideas or from overthinking. So Earth cards, House of Pentacles, right? Earth energy is grounding. So the vibe is kind of like a reality check in like this physical vessel. So when we're looking at Barbault's basket and the fire and air, it can turn us into a bunch of floating heads with a million wild ideas. But like, where are we putting those ideas? Pentacles pops up to ground us. So any kind of like Earth energy, it's like the cards are telling us to get into our bodies, right? Because Earth is a container. It's the physical dirt that you need to actually plant those authentic seeds that Cupcake was talking about, right? So pentacles are here to like help us stop just thinking about um like boundaries or your dream like when swords want to show up. It's like how are we actually building them? So it's like, don't just think about them and like dream about them, kind of like what you were saying a few minutes ago. It's like, what are you actually putting into action to make that happen? So it's a call to ground all this like chaotic cosmic genius and make it real, tangible, like lifestyle changes. And then water being the house of cups, right? So it's emotion. It's what sits in our heart. I think it's very much. I always say it's love with ourselves first and foremost, and then those around us, in relationship to ourselves and those around us. But it's intuition. It's your relationship with your higher self. It's your relationship with divine source, creator, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's the emotional fertilizer and the intuitive hit. So fire and air can get like incredibly intellectual and detached. We talk about releasing old narratives. Like, oh my God, we talk about releasing old narratives all the fucking time, right? But like water is demanding that we actually like feel into it. We're feeling the grief of letting it go. We're feeling the anger. We're feeling the beauty. Like we're letting the feels come into it. It's not just that air intellect, right? It's not, I always talk about my readings like, here's your mind, here's your heart, they need to do this. It's like, it's allowing your feelings to really come into play, right? So if cups crash the party, collective is being reminded that authenticity isn't a concept that you figure out with your brain. It's something you feel in your chest. And you guys always know, like, when I start to do this a lot, like I touch my heart center or like my heart chakra during readings, it's always a signal from like your team, if you're the one I'm giving the reading to, or like divine, to use it. Like stop using this and start using this, or find the balance between, right? So water softens these like sharp edges of all the air and fire. So it's just like the emotional fertilizer that helps these new seeds grow. So it's like paying attention to like our gut feelings, and your dreams to see if the cups like in this spread are like helping like with the intuition. Like what's your intuition screaming, right? So is it louder than your thoughts? A lot of times if your gut is screaming louder than your head, it's like which one you gotta, which one are we listening to? So if we pull pentacles and cups, don't think that the reading is like broken just because it's mainly supposed to be kind of around this like fire and air. The universe is just giving us this like medicine that we need. So all this like celestial energy can like doesn't turn into like a manic brainstorm session. Um, so all right, we want to do some polls, right?
Yeah.
All right. So heavy hitter outer planets are out here doing their absolute least in retrograde right now, right? So the cosmos is essentially forcing us into an aggressive introverted era. I'm saying like think hermit card. This isn't really the time to manic hustle or force things into existence. We're like rearranging our internal dirt, dropping the performance, planting some deeply like authentic seeds, and just like holding space for whatever's coming next. So it was really funny. Like I was having a conversation with someone, they're like, yeah, it's giving like spiritually under construction. And I'm like, oh, I fucking love that.
Right?
Right? So when we think about Barbault's basket, like think about it as a real basket is woven from like flexible and resilient materials, right? So the spread that I'm about to do is about how we can like flexibly weave our own personal truths into like a really rapid changing world. So it's a five card layout. The top card is going to be the fifth card, and then below it is one, two, three, four. So card one is the soil. So I've really been enjoying putting together these spreads that kind of tie into cupcakes like astrological stuff. So it's the astrological tie is the outer planet retrogrades. And so the question for this card when we pull this position is going to be what collective narrative or outdated conditioning or fear is currently being broken down and composted to make room for new growth. So what are we being asked to finally release? Card two is going to be the weave. So it's the creative tension. It's the Jupiter Pluto opposition. So, where is the collective experiencing friction between the ego and desire to perform, which is that Jupiter and Leo, and the need to be honest, our systematic evaluation, so Pluto in Aquarius. So, what is the core discomfort that we're facing? Card three is going to be the seed, which is the authentic spark. Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Gemini. So, what quiet, highly authentic truth or like download is trying to take root in our lives right now? So, like, what is it that we should be paying attention to? And what is the raw, unpolished vision the collective is being invited to nurture? Card four is going to be the harvest. So, what the basket holds. So, the minor grand trine and the base of the basket. What is the ultimate potential of the supportive rearrangement? If we trust the process of stripping away this like excess, like what beautiful new structure or collaborative future are we building? I don't know why I just immediately saw the death card in my head when I was reading that. Um, Card five is going to be the handle of the basket. So, like how to carry it. So, the integration of the entire configuration is going to be the astrological tie. How can the collective practically carry this energy into daily life without burning out? What medicine or daily boundaries do we need to stay grounded while this like global map is being redrawn? All right. So, I'm going to kind of hop on in. I already kind of said my prayer and did all my stuff. So, let's just Get on in here. Ooh. Oh, we got two of wands for in the upright for card one, which is that retrograde release. We got King of Pentacles in the upright for the weave, which is our second position, the creative tension, Jupiter Pluto opposition. Card three is Ace of Pentacles in reverse, which is the seed, the authentic spark, Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Gemini. Like this is going to be some really fun journaling for whoever is doing this poll on their own. And I really, really, really want to hear back in the comments, whether it's Spotify comments or DMs on Instagram. Like I really want to know who did this and like what your outcomes were if you feel like sharing. And I don't mind sharing, like if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind being like, hey, last week so and so got a hold of me and this was their spread that they did. Oh, two came out. So the Emperor is going to be the fourth, which is in the upright, which is the harvest. Like what's the basket holding? And temperance is the handle. How are we carrying all of this? So let's go from here. I'm going to tuck these back here. All right. So card one being that, like, the question being, what collective narrative, outdated conditioning, or fear? Like, what the fuck are we releasing, right? Two of Wands, Wands being that house of fire, right? So we were just talking about how this should be a fire and air situation. Two of Wands is about, I always say, for me, my team gives me this card when I'm giving readings because they know I'm going to equate it to, you know exactly what you fucking need to let go right now. You know exactly what needs to go. You feel it in your fucking bones, in your heart, in every inch of your being, whether it's physically or energetically. And you're sitting there going, I don't know if I'm ready to release it yet. I don't know. It's like you're giving yourself all the excuses on why you can't do it just yet. Well, I put this much money in, or I need to see before X, Y, and Z can happen. I need A, B, and C to happen. And I'm just hearing like, bitch, no. No, you need to fucking release it because A, B, and C isn't going to happen because X, Y, and Z. It's like you need to release it, whatever this is. And I'm hearing very strongly, you know. So whoever this is hitting with already, it's like you already know what this is. And I'm very with all the like we've got I just heard like it's like a very specific, it's like a very I don't because I don't like to like be like, oh, it's relationship or it's career or but I am getting like a very heavy like this is going to be tied to finances and it's going to be tied to your getting rid of imposter syndrome is what I'm hearing. Um, and what is it for you, right? So we've got this two of wands. It's like, see what's out there. You know that the opportunities are out there. You know what, options are laying ahead, and you also know which one. And you know which one that needs to be chosen, regardless of the fear that's being, put behind it. So then our second card is the weave. It's the creative tension. It's that Jupiter and Pluto opposition. So where are we experiencing friction between ego and desire, right? And like the need for honest like evaluation in this. What core discomfort, should we be facing? But then we've got this like King of Pentacles. And I was just hearing, I heard go back to the imposter syndrome, right? So a lot of times when I get court cards, so a page, knight, king, or queen in my readings, I especially in this house of Pentacles, I always say, think of the three S's: safety, security, stability. And this is tied to that imposter syndrome. It's like you're in a situation where you're so fucking scared because you know what your power is. It's like you know how powerful you are. And I'm hearing that, like, you don't need anyone else to validate you. You are the one bringing yourself the security, the stability, and this safety. And it's like you're so fucking scared to admit that because I think the minute you admit it, everything in your life changes. Maybe a relationship you've been in for years falls apart. Well, it's been falling apart, but like finally goes away. Maybe it's, we're in a situation where like you're finally like, I am actually ready to move on to a new job, even though I've spent 10 years at this job trying to get promoted and trying to get into like all of my stuff. Like it's this power, it's this I know that I'm the one that brings this to me, and I don't need to rely on anybody else to give me permission or to set me up for whatever. And then we've got this card, the third card, which is the seed, the authentic spark. So it's that Neptune and Aries and Uranus and Gemini. And it's like, what quiet, highly authentic truth or download is trying to take root in our lives right now? What's that like real, raw, unpolished vision that's being invited into nurture? And it's Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Again, I'm like, what's the resistance? Fear, 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 fear. This is like I have such a stronghold, like just like claws coming down. It's like, in like a movie like Indiana Jones, and like he's like trying to escape, and like he gets into a room and he triggers a thing, and like the spikes are slowly coming down. Like that's what I'm seeing right now. Is like someone is just like sitting there waiting and staring up at these spikes that are slowly coming down. It's like, well, no, all you have to do is stand up and leave because actually the door isn't blocked.
Like roll
And
out of there. Yeah.
just get the fuck out. Like, but you're in that like freeze mode because of fear. So you're just literally like waiting for this impending doom that really doesn't need to happen. But like with Ace of Pentacles, Ace of anything is it's a new beginning. It is planting new seeds. It's literally planting new seeds. Pentacles, house of growth, earth energy, right? So where we were talking about if earth energy comes into this reading, it's like it's here to ground us. It's here to get us to understand, well, what are the physical things, or what are the tangible, tactical, strategic things that we can do to actually make the changes we need to. And I'm hearing it's like receive, allow yourself to receive what's on the other end, walk through the door, allow yourself to receive these unexpected blessings. And I'm hearing like there have been moments, so whoever this is for, I want to say in the last year especially, there have actually been moments where you have been handed like maybe a different, not, and you didn't see it as a promotion, but like you're like, oh well, that's a lateral move and I don't want to take that at work. And it's like, but had you just taken a step back, you could have understood that it would have led to a thousand other incredibly bigger things than you waiting for this one very particular thing. I'm just getting this vibe that whoever this is for is they have been so honed in and stuck, and I am saying stuck very intentionally, stuck on this very particular outcome of something. And it's like, no, that was the vibe. That was the idea. That was supposed to be the spark. It wasn't supposed to be the whole thing. It was supposed to be what got you to just start moving, but it wasn't supposed to keep you then stuck. If any of, I mean, it kind of is like sounding counterintuitive, but then we've got this fourth card, right? It's the harvest. So what is the what's the basket holding? This is that minor grand trine in the base of the basket. So what's the ultimate potential of this supportive rearrangement? So if we were to trust ourselves, if we were to listen to our gut, if we were to just finally let the dominoes, lay where they're going to, or what is it, the cards lay where they're going to, whatever that saying is, if we trust the process of stripping away what needs to go, letting go of what finally needs to get going, what beautiful new structures or like collaborative future are we actually going to be building? And it's the fucking emperor in the upright. You know who the fuck you are. And the emperor is that ultimate divine masculine. So they're alchemizers, they're doers, they push forward, they're confident in who they are, they're fantastic fucking leaders. They hold, even though they do get scared, because we're all human, right? But they hold themselves with grace and compassion and fierceness and just strength. And it's like, even if in moments you don't feel that, it's like you are that. Just like going back to that King of Pentacles, it's like you're so scared of your fucking power. And it's like, but here it is. Here it is. So if you finally step through that door, if you finally start saying, okay, you know what I've been doing hasn't been working. So let me actually try this thing. Let me actually release this. Let me stop being so fucking scared to lose this job or lose this relationship and start over. Like, let me stop being so fucking scared of it. What's going to happen? What could possibly go wrong? Nothing, actually. I'm hearing literally fucking nothing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Everything's going
That's the
fucking
whole
wrong
thing is it's
because
like
you're not moving.
if you take a step back and you go, what would happen? What would happen? And you're not going to burst into flames. You're not going to,
No.
you know what I mean? Like what would happen? And if you start to answer your own question, like, well, what would actually happen?
Well, that's
The
getting to the
answers
base
are
and root of the
usually
fear.
right. The answers are usually so small.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I might be sad for a little while. Or oh, I might have to just take the weekend off and then start looking for a new job. Or I might have to call this person that mentioned having an opportunity for me 3 months ago. And maybe that, whatever. Well, why? I mean, the answer is always so little, but you build it up to be this big, huge, oh my God, I need to sit and hold so tightly,
Hmm.
so
Yeah. For sure. But that's how we keep ourselves stuck. It's that Eight of Swords
Right.
energy, right? It's like keeping ourselves stuck in a prison of our own
Or it's like the
making.
people that won't ask for the raise. It's like, go ask. What could happen? What's the absolute
Oh my
worst thing
God,
that
they
could
say
happen?
no.
They
They
say
say
no,
no.
and then you're still in the same spot, but you asked, and now you
Hmm.
actually know where you stand with them instead of in the story
And then
that
you
you've
can make
created.
decisions going forward. Then you can go, oh no,
Right.
now I actually
Now
know
you
they're
have
not
all the
willing to see my
information. Now you have
value.
all the
Yeah.
information, and you move forward.
Yeah. So then that leads us to card five, the handle. How are we carrying all of this? So the integration of all of this, the entire configuration of these four planets. So how can we practically carry this energy into our daily life without burning out? Like what medicine or daily boundary do we need to stay grounded while while we're redrawing, retransmuting, reconfiguring, re-whatevering, rearranging? And it's temperance, right? And so with this temperance card, it's like, if you can see, I know my cards are sometimes really hard depending on the light, but the water going back and forth, right? This is a patience card. This is a pause card. We were just talking about when I was going through my whole spiel earlier about this kind of with everything, these planets all kind of going through a retrograde. On top of all of this, it's a pause. It's a hermit card moment. It's a go inside, right? The hermit is introspection, it's assessment, it's, you know, very much this vibe of like what's working, what's not working, and I'm not going to do knee-jerk reactions, and I'm going to take time for me and do what I need to do for me. And temperance is kind of the practice of, okay, well, now I'm finding balance. Now I'm like doing this kind of teeter-tottering, but it's not crazy. It's it's not like a crazy teeter-totter where people are, you know how sometimes kids like really push with their legs and it's like they're going really fast and they're bouncing off the ground. And this is a very flowy, right? With the water, it's very flowy. It's temperate. It's like there's a balance. It's calm, it's cool, it's collected. But it's because you're controlling as much as you can of it anyway. It's because you're making actual decisions, because you're saying, here's what I've learned, here's where I want to move forward, here's what I can let go. Like, here is my plan. And I also have my faith intact. I have that. I know that just because this is my plan doesn't mean it's going to go according to that plan, because divine is always going to bring me bigger and better. And so I'm leaving room for that. I'm leaving room for open heart, open mind. Show me what you fucking got, because I'm fucking here now. I opened the door. I'm finally here to receive, right? That Ace of Pentacles. We want to see that. I always tell people too that I do read reversals. Not everyone reads reversals, and I read them as resistance. And I also read them as the energy is still here, right? The Ace of Pentacles energy is here. So let the reversal that you're reading show you what the homework is. So what is the homework to flip that card the way we want to see it? So, there are some cards that I love seeing upside down. Like I love a good 10 of swords in reverse. Like that is showing me that we're finally actually taking the action, right? So like whichever way you want to see it, it's like, well, then what is the homework? What do you need to do to see that energy flip the way that you need it to, right? Because again, this is tarot isn't always like people are like, oh, it's fortune telling and it's blah blah. It's like future focus. And it's like yes and no. It's a deep dive into your energy right now and what's going on with you now. And like if and or here you go. Here's all the paths. It's like to get you to sit down and just do assessments and to kind of like weigh in on where you're at and what the fuck do you actually want. And sometimes it does bring to the surface certain things that we haven't actually been able to see. And so I feel like with this collective spread that we've just done, it's like it's very much, if we're going to summarize it, this is very much about somebody who is too scared to step out into the light. This is somebody who has been taught for whatever reason, right? And to be honest, I'm hearing the reason doesn't actually even matter anymore. It's recognizing that this is what we're doing. We're holding ourselves down. We're keeping ourselves small. We're not allowing light to be shown on us. And we're like, oh, yeah, you can get the attention. You can get the attention. You can get the attention. Oh, you can take the decision on this. You make the decision for that. And then you want to sit there and be like, well, what the fuck is going on in my life? And why isn't it turning out the way I want it to? And it's like, because you're giving your fucking power away. And I'm hearing, take it back, take it back or even just accept it, because maybe you haven't really given it all away. It's like you just haven't like accepted the fact that you are a very powerful fucking person, and we're all powerful fucking people. And it's to what extent do we want to put our shit aside, all the trauma and all the fucking weird ass experiences and all the things we've been taught, and go, well, what do I want to make of all of this? And who do I want to fucking become? And how do I want things to look, sound, and feel for me? Right. And so it's like you've got all the tools. You know exactly what you need to do. You just need to fucking do it. Okay. I think
Okay.
that's it. I think that's all I have to
That
say
was
on
a
that.
good one. I like
Mhm.
that. Good one. Good one.
All right.
Um, I just have this isn't even related, but this was a thing that I like. I like woke up and went, oh, we should probably do that. So I just wrote it down. We're all going to practi知and being more mindful about the words we use. So you can do it in your journal to start so you get used to it. And it's just super short. You know, we are no longer going to say I have to. We're going to replace that with I get to or I have the opportunity to. And
Ooh, I
that's
love that.
everything. Right. Oh, I have to stop and get gas. I get to get gas today. You know why? Because gas prices are fucking expensive and some people can't put gas in their car. So
Mhm.
you have the opportunity to stop and get gas today. You know, oh, I have to vacuum. But oh, I have to vacuum today. No, I get to. I have the opportunity to. So we're not saying I have to because that's a negative. And then also stop using the words just and only. And I still find myself doing this when, like, even in a check in, like, if you're going to check in with somebody, like, via text, oh, I'm just checking in. No, you're not. You're checking in
Mhm.
because it minimizes it. Just and only minimize everything that you're doing. Oh, I only have this much. That's lack. Oh, I'm just checking in. Well, why are you so small? So just, we're going to eliminate just and only from all of our sentences. We're going to do the best we can. And we're going to replace I have to with I have the opportunity to, and I get to.
I
That's
love
all I
that.
have. Yeah. All right.
I did want to do an oracle pull really quick. I know today's
Yeah.
episode is
No,
so
do it. Yeah. Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
here we are. Also, really funny when I pulled it out, raccoon
Oh,
was
it's
on
a
the
raccoon.
bottom, and it's letting go. So I'm going to pull one of these because I always do two to three. So this message has to do with things to to which you cling, be it a thought, form, habit, creed, or situation. The time has come for letting go. Weird, right? Do you need a sign or sign? Something is halting your progress, and you are spinning your wheels. Once you embrace change, blessings will follow. So there's that one, and I'm going to pull a couple more really quick. I love the spirit animal deck. It's so much fun. Ooh.
Ooh.
Dog, loyalty. You may be feeling like those around you let you down or are not doing their fair share of the work. This comes as a reminder that loyalty exists and you must not settle for anything less. You deserve better than mixed signals. Oh, bitch,
Oh.
stop texting him first. Stop fucking
Seriously.
texting him first. And then the raven. Two of your three animals.
Two
Well,
of
no,
my
because
three
Mr. Dibs.
things. I love
All
it.
three of them, because Dibs, Mr. Dibs is a dog. I love this. This is all three of your animals: raccoon,
Dibs
dog,
is
raven,
dog.
crow. You are encouraged to disconnect from the physical or materialistic plan and move to the spiritual realm. You have a deep spiritual connection which you mustn't ignore. You are on the brink of transformation and your divine purpose may be revealing itself. I think all three of these fit very nicely into everything that we've been talking about.
I
Okay.
think they do too. That's really good. I love that.
Okay.
Good
Were we
call.
doing anything else? I know we had
We have
like,
questions, but I don't know. Are we over?
I think we're a lot over. So maybe we hold off
We
on
can save it.
questions.
We can save the questions.
We had a lot of info today, guys. A lot of info.
We did. Um, again, find us on all the platforms we are on. Well, if you're listening, if you're watching us, you're watching us somewhere. But Apple, right? Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook,
Instagram.
Instagram.
We don't have a Facebook, do we? Did I set one up?
Yeah, I think
I
isn't there a
think there might be
stories?
actually.
I think there is a Facebook. We don't know what
There
we're
might
doing.
be.
Anyway,
There
find
might
us on
be.
all the platforms. If you are listening to us on Spotify, um, rate, review, subscribe on the YouTube. If you watch on Spotify, take a few seconds, go over to YouTube and find us and give us a subscribe. It's free. It helps the algorithm. If you're listening to us on Apple, go over to Spotify and subscribe. And then you can go back and you can listen wherever you want. But if you could subscribe to us every place we are, it'll really, really, really help the algorithms. Also, tell your friends, leave us a 5-star review. And if you say words with your review, that also helps our algorithm. And we're fighting the uphill battle with the algorithm, as is every creator, because it changes all the time. What I say
Mhm.
earlier, the algorithm is bigger than the universe, so it's a
Yeah.
constant battle. as to
Yeah.
what is happening. So we appreciate the support, you guys, and thank you for showing up every week. And if you could do that back, that'd be great. Also, merch is incoming. We're gonna have some new,
Ooh,
we're gonna have some fun stuff, and we're gonna work
write that
on the
shit on a
website.
leaf.
Write that shit on the leaf. Yeah,
Yes.
and if you guys need to do some releasing exercises or spells, you can go back and listen to the first couple of episodes, and there's some really good stuff on there. Write that shit on the
True
leaf
story.
is one of them.
Juggle your own
Yeah,
chainsaw.
yeah. So, right. Well,
All right.
thanks,
Okay.
peeps. All right. See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.